Yo, welcome to Young Fathers Podcast again. I'm here with Javon. You're right, Jay.
Yes, indeed.
And you're right to everybody out there as well. Remember to subscribe, remember to like the videos. At least we know exactly what you guys want us to be able to talk about. Without further ado, how's it been anyway? How's your week?
Good week?
Yeah, you were telling me about your love for this new app, this new Chinese apps. What's wrong with everybody with these Chinese apps? Guys, are you obsessed with these Chinese apps as well?
I think people are obsessed with it right now.
What's going on? Is it that there are no new apps that's coming out in the UK or is it in the States or whatsoever?
You know, part of why I'm so excited about this new app, there hasn't been anything that I can think of at any point where you can connect with local Chinese people and have a conversation. And in the West, we
do that all the time. We had all the other apps you can connect like that. You mean like
no
individuals that you
on their terms?
On their terms, yeah.
On their terms.
Okay.
Yeah, you know something, because on the Red Note, you have to connect, you have to use subtitles or learn Mandarin to be able to connect with them.
Well, I have to learn Mandarin to use the app.
It's a Chinese app.
What is there no translation? I can't put it in English.
Yeah, there's a translation, but what I'm saying is a part of what people are enjoying about it is that I'm getting to know somebody from across the world, and the thing about these people that we're getting to know is that we've been told, and we have an image in our mind of these people.
Okay, what's not true about what people are saying anyway about the Chinese?
You know people are saying about China, and they eat dogs, they eat cats.
They do eat dogs though.
they don't like being in China. They want to move to America. I was on that app, and this lady.
Yeah.
Said, I'm going to show you how much I spend in a day.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was doing like a vlog.
Yeah.
And she woke up, she caught the taxi to work, bought lunch when she got to work, bought breakfast, then she bought lunch, took the metro back. Before she got home, she did some shopping. Cost her $20 US.
20. What was the quality of the food?
Chinese food is fantastic quality.
So in terms of
unbelievable quality.
What she bought as well, like obviously, like I don't know, how packaged is this stuff compared to
what she bought in America? Because this is where the comparison is.
Yeah, you have to compare the two, right? So
what she spent $20 US on, would be about 250 American dollars.
250.
250 American dollars. And this is coming that American people are saying this is what it would cost me in Chicago.
What did she buy? What did she buy?
She took the taxi to work.
Okay.
She bought breakfast, whatever their breakfast was, but she bought breakfast, so she had something to eat.
Yeah.
Then she bought lunch.
Yeah.
She took the metro back home. When she got home, she stopped off and she bought some fruits and some vegetables and went home. And all of that for that day cost her $20. So people in Chicago, LA, Washington DC, and was saying, if I did all that in Chicago, this is how much it would cost me. And nobody was under $100 or $150. Nobody. So I said that and to make the point how America's so great and America's got and everything there, but the people can't afford groceries. The people can't afford to go see a doctor. The people can't afford to get their teeth fixed.
Okay. So let me ask you a question then. Right?
Can I chime in actually here?
Yes.
So today, I'm Jess, by the way, and I'm being behind the camera. So I went to the dentist today, and what cost me £28, he said, my actual dentist, because he used to work in the States as well before, he said if you were to get this done in America, it'd be $800. All he did was glue a tooth on.
And it cost you £28.
28 quid. Which I still think is expensive for what it is, if I'm being honest.
Is that a private dentist?
It's
or?
an NHS dentist, but I pay for it.
You pay for it,
Yeah.
so it's given a private care. Okay, fair enough. But at the same time, the standard of living in this country, same like in America, compared to the standard of living in China, is two different things. What you earn on average monthly in China, what would it be? If we check right now to see what the standard of living, they'll probably be like on the average.
About
the average wage there will probably be $2,000 a month.
About 2,000.
$2,000 a month compared to our average standard wage here, which is about 30,000.
Yeah.
In America, it'll probably be something like maybe 60,000.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes. I think the average is 50, 55,000.
Yeah. So you have more money to use in these wealthier countries. Therefore, more things cost more money.
But this is the point.
Don't get me wrong, things should be cheaper. Yeah. Inflation should go down, but at the same time, I feel like we're also asking for like a utopia that doesn't exist. We can't expect us to be earning so much as well, and also expecting the food as well on the shelves to be so cheap, right? Yeah. Knowing that it comes from across all around the world, we want this fair trade regulation that everybody else should be paid fairly. The farm all over the world, across the world, you get paid a decent wage. So therefore, the food should be also cost a little bit more as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I like say, but
we want that here.
But this is one of the things like, I don't know that I've observed, and this is it, because I heard a lot of people saying, "Why, yeah, look at our wage and look at their wage. Look at." This is what I think about. Whatever their wage is, they can go to work and work one job, and they can afford an apartment.
Yeah.
They can afford a deposit on a house.
Okay.
They can afford food. They can afford to go eat out. They can afford a car. One job. So people say, why, yeah, in America they earn 100,000. If they're 100,000 and you're still living in your car, what difference does it make? If people in London are earning £100,000 and they still can't buy a house, what difference does it make? What difference does it make? And if you're earning 2,000 in China, but you can afford to go on holiday, but you can afford the weekend off, but you can afford...
But you have to remember something as well, and that's circumstances. Not everybody that ends up having to be in those situations because also certain decisions they're making. Because obviously, like, we have to be, each individual has to take responsibility, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, let's say you are living... You see, if you're having to have two jobs and you're living in your car, maybe the jobs that maybe where you live maybe you shouldn't be working in that particular state. Maybe you should think about migrating to a different state where you can have one job that pays you well and allows you to be able to do that.
How many millions of people can migrate?
That's the thing. If you choose, for example, like when it comes to like LA, for example, like you live there, right? So at the same time, like most people that went to LA, I'm sure they went there hoping to become famous. Right?
I'm sure they did.
Right, and they invested a lot of money within that as well. But the problem with that is as well, like how many other people wouldn't invest in the same thing as well to be able to do the same thing.
Yeah, and you know something? What I think is...
So guys, your Chinese apps, mate, I don't get it.
When you think about somebody going to work and working one or two jobs, and this applies to thousands of people in America, not so much in the UK or in Europe. They go to work, whatever the jobs. Some people have high education, they're CEOs, some people have just regular warehouse jobs. Regardless of the job, they go to their warehouse job, whatever it is. And also they have one or two of them, and at the end of their shift, they get in their car, and that car is their home.
True.
There is something that's not right about that.
True.
And that's a reality.
But in terms of, for example, like in America, compared, because I can't really speak much about America, because I've never lived there. Yeah. For example, like in England, apart from just, okay, first of all, there's a minimum wage requirement. So they're supposed to pay you the minimum, especially for us, depending on what age you are as well. So when you're younger, you get paid a lower minimum wage compared to when you hit, I think it's 21.
I think
when you go past like 21, then you get like a higher minimum wage.
Yeah.
So they say that because obviously they expect you to be able to be living by yourself, to be paying for X, Y, and Z. So there's like a certain amount, there's a bracket that they expect you to be able to be earning at least, right? And if you go below that, it becomes a bit problematic, right? So at the same time, like in America, you don't really have that. I don't think do they have that same system over there? Or can companies do exactly what is it like a Wild West where they can literally pay you whatever?
It's a bit of both because they have minimum wage, and in most states it's like $7.25. In California it's a little bit higher. I think it's somewhere around $13-15. But with that you have like hospitality. People in America that work in restaurants, they don't even get paid minimum wage because their tipping system expects the customer to fit their wages.
What?
So
What?
I've never heard of them.
What? So you guys saying now I have to tip you?
Yes, in America.
Right.
I have to tip you.
If you don't
I'm not going there.
if you don't tip, they look at you like, what's your problem? They expect.
I paid for my food.
I went to a restaurant in New York, right? A pancake
I understand you. No, it's respectful.
It's like 20% added tax just on your bill, bash like that. You've got no choice. It was just on my bill.
Yeah.
I mean, there were good staff. They were great.
Yeah.
But it just added.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It just added automatically.
Yeah, and like say, so what happened, because of that tipping culture, they can pay a waiter, waitress $3 an hour.
Imagine
Because we as the customer is going to pay their wage. And it's like, how do they get away with this?
But the customer can't subsidize the person's wage.
That-
How is
that's-
someone going to subsidize it? So, no, but so for example, when you look at, for example, China, then,
Yeah.
right, in terms of their working systems there, even here we get about as well, like the taxes that we pay as well using our wages.
Yeah.
Allows us to be able to go and use the healthcare system
Yes.
completely for free compared
Yes.
to Americans where they have to use portion of what they get paid to pay for health separately. In China, how does that work?
In China, they have free health.
Based on what you've learned.
Yeah, and I said, and they have free healthcare.
They have free healthcare. So they pay into like a national health system as well, where they get to have free healthcare.
Yeah.
People in the comments, let us know if that's the case in China. I want to know, yeah, because I don't believe that. But in the same time as well, like, because obviously, like, most of the time what we hear about China is like, it seems to be a culture where there's a lot of restrictions, right? Because even the pandemic kind of showed us that. So for example, like, June 2020, it first started over there, right? And the government had a certain system of how to deal with this particular situation that was so, people say was so authoritarian, sorry, I can't use the word, in terms of like how to track and trace people, how to monitor people whereabouts, seeing exactly where they are, constantly surveilling people. Obviously, like there's stores in China where you can literally just go into, there's
nobody there.
There's nobody at the till.
Yeah.
You literally just go there, you get whatever you need to get, put it in your basket, leave, and then you just get better.
One has to ask themselves what one prefers.
Tell me,
here's
what would
an
you
idea.
rather have?
Here's an idea.
Because I feel like that's no freedom though.
In China, there is no crime. Jess, you can go walk at 2 o'clock in the morning in China and feel 100% safe.
Nice.
You can't do that in America. You can't do it in London.
In London.
You can't do it.
You get your phone robbed.
So listen to this. In China, they have cameras everywhere. What does the UK have? Cameras everywhere. The UK is the number one for having the amount of cameras in Europe. But did that deter crime in London? No. But in China, it has deterred crime.
Okay.
Because people can just walk around. So I encourage people, which is why I say I enjoy this app.
Okay.
I encourage people to see what's actually happening, because you mentioned before about, the government and, they don't have no freedoms. This is where the propaganda kind of comes in. Yeah.
Okay.
People says China's got this scoring system.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And in America, you can't buy a car without having a credit score. You can't buy a house without having a credit score.
No, you, what do you mean you can't buy? You can buy it by cash, I'm sure. You can pay. You can go.
You can't use no cash no more. You can't use cash.
No, what do you mean, sir? So you have the money there.
What I mean,
you can't
is
go
this.
to a garage and just say, there's my money.
No, people don't deal with cash. No, not in this day and age. What I mean, in America, you have
Trump, you better change that.
You have a credit score, and this credit score is. You think, how does this credit score thing start? And it starts like this: you have to get somebody to give you like a credit card, and you go and you buy something, and then you pay it off each month, and then say it's like £500 on this credit card. Next time it's £1,000, and you prove that you can pay it off. And as you prove you can pay it off over years, your credit scores go higher and higher and higher,
of course,
because you're paying all your bills.
Of course, you show that you're
As your
reliable.
credit score gets higher, you want to buy a brand new car. You go in. First thing is, credit score's good. Yeah, we can sell you a car. Credit score's bad, we can't sell you a car because we don't trust you to pay for this car.
No, but I got my money. If I got cash on me,
They don't want cash, mate. Because, you know what I'm saying, they don't want cash because they make money. This is capitalism. They make money through interest.
yeah,
They make money through interest.
No, I get that, but at the same time, I feel like how on earth you expect that? I don't know. You got the money right there with you, but you go to a store. They're like, because your credit was bad, because you didn't pay something properly 2 years ago. Therefore, now I'm not going to be able to sell you anything.
There was a time you can go into a car dealership and like some mafia boss with a suitcase full of money and buy what you want. Then there's a long con. There's a long con. It doesn't quite work like that no more.
Well, what's the justification for it? For not allowing them people to be able to pay by cash?
You know something? It's all about capitalism. They want interest. They want you to pay monthly because they earn their money on a monthly basis through interest. You put your money in the bank, they give you 1% interest, they loan your money to me,
That's something
and they charge me 6% interest. So they're making money. They're making money out of your money while you're not making money out of your money by having it in the bank. So they want you to pay monthly. They don't want you to pay by cash.
Okay.
They don't want you to do that.
So red note. So what are you from what are you seeing? So what are you learning from red note is that
I'm living better than we are living in the UK and better than they live in America. Their infrastructure is embarrassing to what we've got. It's embarrassing.
No, I have to say that their train system. I've seen some of the trains over there. Their train system is insane. I feel there's a train that I saw where the guy could literally have his own bed there, lay down,
Unbelievable.
literally sleep on the journey, and you can
They're just
actually
happy as well, aren't they? I just find them really happy.
And a part of the propaganda is this. How do you judge any society, if it's a successful society or not? How do you judge that? By looking at the people. By looking at the people. Are the people happy? You know, are they living good lives? Can they afford a house? Can they afford groceries? Can they afford the things in their life that people want to make them happy?
Of course.
If a society provides that for the people, it's a successful society. And if it doesn't, it's not. America.
So what's this thing concept of obviously they look at China as a communist country as well, in the sense that the government controls everything that everybody does. So when it comes to these apps, yes, they're all good and well. We get to see exactly how the people over there get to live like, but at the same time we know that all of those people as well, lives are actually being monitored by the government.
What do you think happened to our lives?
No, in terms of like, for example, like we can sit here and talk about the government. We can talk about politics. We can talk about the Queen. We can talk
Did anybody hear about TikTok ban?
No, I don't know. I get that. No, but I mean, like we have the freedom to be able to do that. We can talk about these issues, right? Without having to worry about somebody coming knocking at our door in the next few days.
They can talk about it too.
So they can also have this conversation freely.
They can talk about it too. And this is a part of what's eye-opening, where, because it's not just
But
Americans.
there's a lot of people that have been put in jail for speaking out. Look at what's happening in Hong Kong right now.
Do you realise the amount of people that's in British jail for protesting about Palestine, for protesting about Black Lives Matter? Do you know the people in America that's in jail for? So the whole thing about, they give the illusion that we are so free. We can say what we want and do what we want, but dig deeper and look at what you can really say and who you can really say it about, and see what happened.
To a certain extent, obviously, your freedom to express yourself has certain responsibilities. Nobody is allowed to be able to say whatever they want to say at the end of the day. And you are allowed to say whatever you want to say, but you also have to understand that there's some consequences to what you do, to what you do say. Okay, so at the same time, I feel like, okay, without having to prolong this too much, I feel like, yeah,
Bobby, you know what it is?
You don't see the same. For example, when was the last time you see a movie out of China that was talking about the political structure in China? When was the last time there was a documentary that came out of China that was talking about how people weren't happy about a particular type of law that was being passed, right? It seems to be like, for example, like in the West, people have these rights to be able to express themselves and say, you know what, we don't like how the government does things there. We don't like how the government does things there. Yes, and yes, certain people might get some backlash from it, and they do, and that's wrong. They shouldn't get backlash from it, because if we say that we do live in a free society, people should be able to be free to say whatever they want to say. Like you said there about the Palestinian situation, people should be able to voice those opinions without having to feel like, oh, I'm going to be demonized, or I'm going to have to lose my job, or I'm going to be sent into, I'm going to be put in prison for it. Like, how are you going to be put in prison for expressing an opinion? Right? That's a bit crazy. And I don't know if you saw about you brought up Palestine earlier. Like, there was a march back to what do you call it, to northern Gaza.
Northern Gaza.
That scene looked. If anybody else has seen that scene online, it looks like droves. Like, I've seen the movie. You've seen the old movie of Exodus of Moses.
Yes, I have.
When they're all leaving Egypt, it looks like that. It looks like it's just like millions of people just literally just going from one side to another. It looked insane. But that's another thing for us.
And I think a part of what we have to realize sometimes is that a lot of the information that we've been fed is not the truth.
No.
It's not the truth. Yeah, and like I said, and as we're speaking right now, and where my brother works in Los Angeles, he has a lot of Mexican friends, and they're all scared to go to work.
Why?
Because you don't know what's going on over there, do you? You know what's going on over there?
In Mexico?
In Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles.
In
What,
America.
okay,
There's an
let's-
organization called ICE, and I can't remember what ICE stands for. What is
So
the
like these are
organization
my
do?
immigrants basically.
They're going around, if you got brown skin, they're arresting you, and you've got to prove that you're an American citizen. Otherwise, you go on a plane. Today, as we speak, they got two planes that they gathered Mexicans up
Yeah.
to ship them to Colombia. And the Colombian government says, we don't want them there, turn it back.
No.
They send them to El Salvador. They says, no, we don't want them, send it back. Trump, in a week,
Yeah.
is rounding up people like cattle. On a plane,
Okay.
I say, get out.
We need to have this conversation because obviously we were supposed to discuss.
As we speak today.
True. The big we were supposed to discuss Elon Musk, in fact,
Oh.
right? But before we get there, let's talk about this and also share the video as well with your family and friends, and this is how the algorithm knows that we are engaging more with our viewers as well. But yeah, let's go back onto that. So in terms of Trump, because this seems to be a bit of an issue where because for example, I've been seeing what's been happening in South Africa. Same like the sentiment what's been happening in England. Like there's been an issue where around the world, everybody else has been concerned with immigration. They've been concerned with immigration so much so that it's literally is becoming the main narrative when it comes to even political election.
Yeah.
Right. It's literally driving everything, and also it's also creating kind of like. It's creating dissent amongst people within those countries. So, for example, like in England, we know what's been happening in England in terms of immigration. In America, we know we just brought it up. We just brought it up a little bit as well. But even in South Africa, you have a lot of African people from various parts of Africa.
Yeah.
Now, migrants to Africa because it's a country that's
It's vibrant.
vibrant.
Yeah.
The GDP is growing every year. And there's a lot of industry that's happening there, right? And also one of my friends was actually telling me today as well, like there's a lot of people from Zimbabwe actually that migrate to South Africa. A lot. To the point that, for example, like you have some Zimbabwean people, because obviously the language is so similar between people, for example, from the Ndebele tribe and the Zulus. So, for example, they can mix very easily. So you can have a person like leaves Zimbabwe, goes into South Africa, commits a crime, and then just runs back to Zimbabwe. And it's like, okay, well, you can't find that person. He's just gone. Like, so when it comes to same thing when it comes to like migrants, you can have somebody that comes, for example, like in America, you brought by America, you can have somebody coming over the border, commits a crime and runs back over again. When is it ever okay for you to commit a crime, for example, in somebody else's country?
Well, it's never okay to commit a crime. People are going to commit crimes, but it's never.
Yeah, but when was it ever acceptable? And when were the people in those countries, when were people ever been okay with other foreigners coming into their countries and committing crimes?
Yeah, and like I say,
It's never been accepted in history ever.
But that's a part of the narrative where they want to connect crime and immigrants as if they're the only ones committing crime.
No, but you have to remember something like, and this is what I have to think about it a little bit, because I said to myself, yeah, and you're right, but I have to put myself in the other person's shoe, and I feel to myself, okay, if I wasn't native to this land and I saw immigrants coming here and committing crime, you'd be thinking to yourself, okay, we already have our own crime that we have to deal with. That's one thing. We don't want having to import crime, and that's a problem. You don't want to import other people's problems.
No.
You want to be able to deal with the own problems you have and deal with it and tackle that without having to start dealing with other people's problems altogether. And I feel like, and like I said, in Africa things are a bit more. In Africa things are vicious. So in the sense like when the uprising happened in South Africa, you have native black South Africans killing, or like you said, they weren't looking for whites. Or they were looking for black migrants that weren't from that country. Let's make sure you speak one of our languages if you have the right papers. If you don't have the right papers, please leave.
That's it, yeah.
Or you getting beat up or all these various stuff at the end of the day. But here, they're actually telling you that we're going to be put into like a little, they'll put you in the plane and send you somewhere.
They want to put together all immigrants, people who's come here. Some's come here illegally. What is this country or America or wherever? Illegally.
Yeah.
Most have come here legally. Yeah?
Yes.
The vast majority.
Yes. It's very.
No
I know the numbers
country
more in
can
England.
prove that there's far more illegals
Yeah.
than there are those that are illegal. No country can prove that because there's more people coming into this country.
Yeah.
The vast majority of the immigrants that's come here didn't come across the channel and in a boat. they came
Through a visa.
through visa, through customs.
Yes.
The vast majority of them.
Yes.
Yeah?
But people are annoyed with the 5%.
Yeah. So what
So it's
people...
like the 95% of people that come in here are coming through to be nurses, they're coming here to be
Exactly.
care workers,
Exactly.
they're coming here to work in the NHS,
But
they're
that
coming
little
here
group
to be
that
engineers.
come in
or whatever.
illegally, and they're criminals,
Yeah.
and they commit a crime, they're using that same brush to smear everybody. This is something that we as people of colour understand.
Not true, but we have to be able to deal with facts. When they do that, you tell them that you're wrong. That's not the case. Your facts are wrong there. Because I feel like at the moment people have an issue with facts right now. In terms of
They
like
sure do.
when it comes to like, and you're right as well. In terms of like this 5% of people that are coming in, and this is the thing as well. Like, and there's been on the news. Like I think I sent you that article of Rudy Cabana that got sentenced for 52 years. And I've been thinking about this for the whole week, and for the whole week last week, because when he actually got sentenced, and the article, when you read the case itself and what the person actually did, and some of the information that the court actually put forward, it's terrifying. It's crazy. And I got 3 little girls. You got daughters as well. To think to yourself, like the reason why people wanted the death penalty so much for this person, and they wanted to bring back the death penalty
For this person.
because I heard the people were saying, even some other friends of mine was like, no, this has to be from a racist angle. No. Because how on earth are they going to want to be able to bring the death penalty for this person? But I was like, no, you have to be able to look at it from a different angle. Like what he did was
It's evil.
was beyond understanding, and the problem was like, and also the radicalization as well of an individual. Like I don't know. You can see like the pattern as well, because obviously, and you look at out of a particular school because of violence tendencies as well, and apparently he tried to go back to that school as well, trying to see if he wanted to.
Then you could
go
argue,
there.
did the system fail him? People would argue.
I feel
Is it
like the system
nurture?
failed, but I feel like you can be radicalized. People think about radicalization only when it comes to Islam. They don't think of radicalization when it comes to just being radicalized.
It comes in all forms.
It comes in all
Yeah.
forms, exactly. You could be radicalizing, but for example, and apparently his parents from Rwanda.
Rwanda.
Yeah. So Rwanda's been on the news. I'm sure you've been hearing Rwanda on the news constantly. Sunak wanted to send immigrants that will come and get on the dinghies.
It's not squashed yet.
They've actually passed the legislation for it. Now it's actually a law that they can actually do it.
They've actually sent people already.
They've started the whole process. But at the same time, like when it comes, Rwanda's been on news constantly, and the fact that this person has been bullied as a child as well, I feel like it could have traumatized him, right? To the point that I don't know, it snapped or something somewhere in his brain. But I feel like there's something else as well people don't really talking about as much, like the whole rising thing. It was caught with like ricin in his house. Like this is like it's a biochemical weapon, a biochemical substance. Sorry, not biochemical substance. But at the same time, like not anybody can just build ricin.
Where do you get that?
No. It's not like you don't get it. You have to mix it. And I understand it was autistic, and I know like certain people that are autistic, their brains think a bit more differently compared to everybody else. So it could probably be highly into science, but for you to do that, and the amount of ricin they had as well was quite substantial as well. It was like that is crazy for him to be able to go that much, to go that.
It's an extremist. So like he was going down that extreme.
Yes,
path.
but then again, for example, like for people like now in the country looking at that, they're like, okay,
Do you
we
think
shouldn't
he
have
was
to.
born evil, or do you think he turned evil?
It got radicalized here in the country. Because yeah. But I feel like, for example, from the age when you read the report as well, everybody else was saying that from a young age to age 13, he seemed like a normal kid. From when he went past 13, he started changing and behaving a bit differently, right? And I just felt to myself like, okay, there's something there that went wrong there. And yes, a lot of people get radicalized in prison, right? And at the end of the day, once you commit one particular crime, it just happens over and over again. And also, like, I don't know, there's been a lot of backlash as well in terms of, like, usually when certain people, like, for example, especially if you're not born in this country, if you commit a particular crime, you could be sent back into your own country, you could be deported back, especially when it comes to highly violent crimes.
Yeah.
That option wasn't available for him, obviously, because he was born in Wales.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it just seemed a bit crazy. It seemed crazy for me.
And you got what, 54 years?
52 years.
52 years.
Basically, it's never getting out of prison because it's 18 right now. It'll be 70. And the way the judge made it clear that this person should never come out for president or whatsoever.
Yeah, well, some people get radicalized and go down that evil path and do evil things, and they should be punished for it. 100%. Yeah, and you know something, and
no, but they will tie that to the fact that because his dad was a migrant that came here, and he's a first generation, so therefore we shouldn't have this issue of having an open border, allowing people coming from certain countries which people would deem to be violent countries. But that's the thing, I don't know. And
what countries are deemed to be violent?
No, but I get the comment. Let's say we come from a war-torn country, like, I don't know, that could even apply to me. I come from Congo. So but at the same time, I don't know, there's you coming from a war-torn country and coming here, there's no magic ball that people can look at the immigration point. They even look at your parent, then they can ask you to maybe say that your children might end up having to commit certain crimes in the future. But there's nothing to be able to do that.
No.
Unless you guys know something, but I don't know.
No,
there's nothing there at all whatsoever.
No, there isn't nothing. But the whole idea of somebody being here illegally and committing a crime, so they look at the whole immigration, that we should stop immigration because this one person that's where there's a bit of an issue. Because you know something, if this country didn't need any kind of immigration, there wouldn't be no immigration. The immigrants are there because they need them. If America didn't need an immigrant, by the way, they're all immigrants, yeah? Yes. If they didn't need it, they wouldn't be there. They're there for a reason. And you know what the reason is there for? The more immigrants come in, you can bring the wages down. When the wages go down, what we were talking about last time, the profits go up.
Of course.
That's what it's all about. But they want us down here fighting amongst each other, saying, oh, it's him, it's while they're up there thinking, yeah, bring more to squash the wages down. Because as British people, we expect a certain wage.
Yeah.
As other people come into the country, that's going to go down.
True.
As that goes down, the profits goes up. And that's all they're concerned about.
True.
They're not concerned about, men versus women, gays versus straight. They couldn't care about that. But they want to stoke those fires, so we spend our time worrying about that while they're there.
Well, also, when it comes to I don't think we should even blame anybody for it. I feel like it's just like individuals should just understand exactly what's actually happening in terms of these particular issues. So for example, like me speaking to somebody at a pub, for example, him telling me about how immigration is bad, how we should be able to sort out this immigration when it comes to this situation with illegal immigration. Even the fact that right now, for example, like the Reform Party didn't get I think they got about 5 seats in the last election. Yeah. I guarantee you the next election, they will get more. They will probably end up getting something like 100 seats. Yeah. They will do more than what the Green Party or what these other small parties ever did. Because I feel like at the moment the momentum is with them right now. Yeah. Right? People seem to, for some reason, Farage seems to be speaking to the nation compared to Keir Starmer right now. I feel like within 7 months, the guy got elected on the 7th of July last year. And within 7 months, people are already kind of fed up with his politics right now. They're feeling like he's not really moving the dial as much. He's not really taking charge as much. But you have these radical guys on the, I won't say radical, but these radical views on the right.
Far right.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is it far right to be able to say that you want your nation to be better? No. Or you want the nation to be to have a better standing? Because even people in Africa, for example, even in Africa, people in all of these other countries, even in Congo, for example, I would love for those countries to be able to think that same way, look after their country and say, we want our countries to be better in these particular ways, right? Control our borders. Like, for example, what's happening over there with Rwanda and Congo right now is a border problem because you don't have control of your border, and that's a massive issue.
Yeah, and that's my problem is when somebody does something bad, you look at all of those people as if they've done something bad. If a black person does something bad, it's that person. Black or white, it's that person. If a white person does something, it's that person. If that immigrant, it's that immigrant.
Yes.
But what tends to happen is immigrants.
They get lumped in like a little whole basket.
And when you hear that word, immigrants, you know what psychologically flashed through people's mind?
What?
black and brown. They don't think of Polish immigrants as here in the UK. Ukrainian. I'm telling you,
people are starting to think of Albanians though. Albanians, you're actually one of us now. Come. Yeah, no, I'm being serious because people saying, "Oh, Albanians, this what happened like in Leeds, like." But yeah, go on, Karen, finish.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's one of those things where people need to stop blaming everybody.
Yeah.
When a bad person's done something, that person's done something. Deal with that person, but that's not what really happens.
No.
That's not what really happens. Just look throughout the news and see what's going on. That's not really happening.
No.
They tend to put everybody in the same basket and says it's all about immigration.
So you think Trump, for example, will lump all of these immigrants all into one basket and just say, you know what, and just deport all of them?
That's exactly what he's doing. But guess what? All the potato picking and all the strawberry picking and all that stuff, it's been done by immigrants. Yeah. So what's going to happen, and what's been happening over the past week, is as you get rid of these people, who's the major, particularly in America, and for a while, and over here, in construction, it was Polish, Romanians, Albanians, they were heavily in constructions. In America, it's Mexicans into construction.
True.
And farming, it's Mexicans. So what happens when you get rid of all those people?
Yeah.
Who's doing that job? And if no one's doing that job, what happens to fruit and veg? The prices of fruit and veg.
I know, but the problem is like the issue with that as well, is that because people are so fed up with politicians kind of like lying all the time or saying mistruths all the time.
Yeah.
Is that when a new person comes and say he wants to be bold and bring new ideas, even if the decision he's making is wrong, people will see that as being a good decision regardless.
Yeah.
For some reason. And I feel like America is going through that ish situation, right? Like I feel like we went through that when it comes to Boris. We're like, okay, we've got Brexit done now, let's move forward, let's do this, let's do that, let's not argue over this anymore. But it was like what was presented in front of people wasn't exactly the package that people were looking for anyway. And look at us now. People are looking at, should we renegotiate with EU again? Should we try to be more closer to the EU again? But no, you can't do that. You've already signed the papers now. So, but like right now, when it comes to Trump as well, there's certain things I feel like he believes that this is the right thing to do, but I don't think he's seeing the longevity of it. And I was listening to this other podcast, this other blogger was talking about how whenever countries go through whenever systems are going through a decline, and I feel like right now the West in general is going through a bit.
Yes, it is.
It's questioning itself.
Yes.
Right? And there's a reason why you kind of have like a split in the middle that's never been so obvious before. Like, you know, like the left and the right is so like, the right is on that side thinking, okay, these are our facts and this is what we believe. The left is on this side and say, these are our facts and this is what we believe. And we don't believe the guys on the other side, they're always wrong. The guys on the other side are like, we don't believe the guys on the other side, they're always wrong. And because of that, it's like, okay, you're gonna have that last fight for survival. When like you feel like the power is fading away, but you always like there's no imagine like a heavyweight champion when you're seeing the new guy coming up. Is he just gonna let him take it? No, he's gonna try.
That's exactly what's
he's gonna
happening.
try his very best
to hold on to that.
To hold on to the power. Like, come on, and I feel like this is kind of like that last hurrah for them. Like I feel like if they don't get this right, it can turn very, very. It can turn ugly.
Whatever happens in the States trickles throughout the whole world.
100.
Whatever happens there.
If America sneezes, the rest of the world gets sick.
Whatever happens there affects. So it's not like, well, it's their problem. It affects everybody. Yeah?
True.
And a part of what I was saying earlier about your society, what Trump is doing, look at who is sat around that big table with him. The vast majority of them are billionaires.
Mm.
Who are they concerned with? They're not concerned with working people.
Mm.
They're not concerned with working people.
Just the rich.
They're concerned
richer.
with, let me get close to Trump.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to help me with,
next
this
business
tax,
plan,
with this.
yeah.
How can I increase my money? During COVID, 4.5 years ago, more billionaires was created in that window of COVID than ever in the existence of human beings. Now, how come most people weren't working, couldn't afford to go to work, going through mental issues, but people became billionaires overnight?
Yes, which meant for me the way I see that was like the small businesses basically got sacrificed for these for a few companies to become bigger and take this space basically, and that was disgusting for especially when it comes to the lockdowns for the small businesses. It literally killed everybody else.
Where America is going is to make the rich richer, and a part of the problem that people are having is that Trump is very good with his dialogue in the sense that he can get poor people to feel like him and Trump are one and the same. Trump's got my back. Trump doesn't. He doesn't have.
No, I understand that, but he has to speak that concept.
But he has to speak that.
He's a nationalist, though.
Yes, and he speaks it in such a way he can rile the people up to try to.
Is it good to be a nationalist?
Well, you know something. It's good to be part of your country, but when you get people to do things like try to overthrow a government, you're going to be too far there, mate. And what happened there, even though they were denying it, it's clear to see what happened there.
No, of course.
You know, so you heard all the speeches he made leading up to that.
Yeah.
And then look what happened.
No,
he goes, well, it wasn't my fault. I had nothing to do with it.
No, but this is the thing, yeah. Like in Africa, we know coup d'etats, bro. Coup d'etats, you have wars, you have weapons, yeah, and you have all of these people coming there trying to literally come and take over the government. This it was. I probably say it's more like it was close to it, but I don't think it was that. I think it was that they attacked a very important structure of government, right? Capitol building, but in the same time, I feel like it's just like an example of the whole during the pandemic again. You bringing me back to the pandemic, we had the whole Black Lives Matter situation, right? Police brutality in Africa. When you have police brutality compared to the police brutality here, it's completely different, right? They will make the police brutality here seem like a walk in the park, literally. But at the same time, yes, we should be outraged when certain things go wrong, but I feel like sometimes I don't know, we go a bit too far as well sometimes.
Yeah, and like I say, and I just kind of see what's happening there is going to lead, because the UK look to America for everything, because it's not part of Europe no more. No. Because not part of Europe no more, it doesn't look to Europe as if to say, we and you are one and the same. They all speak different languages. We're the only ones that speak English. They can speak English, but we're the only one English-speaking country in Europe. Yeah. So they look to America for everything. So whatever happens there, they lead.
But do we buy more from Europe or from America?
What do we get from America? What do we buy from America? We buy a lot from Europe.
I feel like we do also import a lot from there as well.
We import from all over the world. You know what I'm saying?
True. The issue with Britain before was because you're tied to this market in Europe, when you come into the deals you do in America, they come with certain restrictions. You can't do certain deals with Asia because of the restrictions that the EU impose on you. But now with the UK being out of the EU, allows them to be able to have that flexibility for them to be able to have whatever kind of deals that they basically want to have. Kind of free for all.
You know, whatever deal they want, but this Brexit thing don't look too good though. Yeah, you can deal with this person, deal with that, but this Brexit thing don't look too good though.
Nah, true.
And like I say, if they could go back and change it, I think they'd go back and change it.
They would.
And be a part of Europe.
No.
Because they didn't realise what the real impact was, because like you were saying, politicians lied to them. And said, we're going to get this and we're going to get this, and this 300 billion that we're paying to Europe, we're going to hold on to that money. None of that was true. And we came out of Europe and it's made us worse, not better.
Nah, true. No, the next segment I want to talk to you about as well. But you want to talk about Elon Musk. So what do you think of this? I think he's an interesting character.
Yeah, and like I said, and I think this Elon Musk thing that I want to talk about, it fits in with what we're talking about here now, how throughout Europe, and you're saying being a nationalist and Farage's party, and Musk was on stage at the inauguration and he felt comfortably enough. Did you see that? What Elon Musk did?
Elon Musk acting weird and looking around the room. People were saying you're on drugs.
No, Elon Musk.
Honestly, it looked really weird.
In the inauguration, and last Monday, he did the Nazi salute.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yes, and people on their side is saying he didn't really mean that. But it's very clear what it was. But what that means is that government is at a place right now where they say, we can do what we want to do.
Do you think it was necessary?
Did you see it?
I saw the video. I saw the video.
A lot of people are also arguing he's got Asperger's.
Yeah.
So he's awkward in social situations. He gets giddy and he acts a bit childish sometimes, doesn't he? And that he's probably just gone S's in like he wanted to go yes when it's come out like.
Yeah, and also the fact that he gives himself a bit of that leave. I feel like he's trolling, and I feel like he's a guy. I watched this other guy. I feel like he's trolling in the sense that I think he's just doing it to be able to. He wants that attention.
He's doing it because he knows he can do it and get away with it.
And because he's an attention-seeking person. I think
100%.
He's probably a psychopath in some way, but I feel like honestly, like he wants that attention every time. Like this is Trump's inauguration, or what do you call it, day, right? Out of everything, instead of Trump seeing himself, or what do you call it, the next day on the newspapers there.
Elon took out the headlines.
We have we have Elon there, which makes no sense. But
what does that do to people that believe in that? That say to them, if the richest man in the world, with or without Asperger's, couldn't do that on a national stage for billions of people around the world to see.
Yeah.
What I believe in my Nazi belief and my racism, it's going to be a good thing because look, that's the richest man in the world.
So you think he's just signalling to all his racists?
100%.
Like, oh, guys, you can come out of the woodwork now.
Yeah, you know something? They looked at the amount of material that was downloaded and conversation that people was having because of that gesture and that racist supremacy, sky high. Because it said to them, if that guy couldn't do it in front of people.
Well, did you not see the flocks of those men that were supposedly white supremacists that went to some sort of rally? They had those big balaclavas on the white ones, all bomber jackets.
Bomber jackets, tan trousers.
Yeah.
They all would dress the same because they wanted to hide their identity. Yeah. I mean, that's too much, that's too far. Yeah. I don't know why they're piping up all of a sudden.
No, it's not their problem all of a sudden. They're always there. And they need people to stoke them to come up. Those kind of people that's filled with hatred, they're always there.
Of course,
But they're just kind of quieting down certain times and people come into politics and lift them up.
So
and what's happening now
are you telling me that this guy that's born in Pretoria, in South Africa, in Africa, is a Nazi?
I'm not saying he's a Nazi. I'm saying
he's got Nazi tendencies.
He knows what he needs to do to target who he wants to target. So does Trump. And when those two come together, the President of the United States and the richest man in the world, and can do a Nazi salute, and people are saying, no, that's what does that tell you? We know what it was. We saw what it was. And they're saying to us, what you saw, you didn't see. What you heard, you didn't hear. I'll tell you what you saw. I'll tell you what you hear. What does that sound like?
To be honest, I can grant you the fact that you can say that he's a conservative and it's maybe more on the right wing side of the conservative of the Conservative Party or the conservatism in general, because obviously he funded Trump, right? And he was also he's also trying to fund.
Did you hear how much he funded?
Yeah, I think
100
and something million pounds. Yeah. He's also trying to give the Reform Party some funding here as well in the UK, and he told Nigel Farage that he has to be able to put Tommy Robinson in his party, and even for Nigel Farage, even for him, was like, nah, I can't do that.
So all of these signals that you're saying, what does that tell you?
Oh, let me finish. let me add another one for you, yeah. And I think was it like 2 days ago? Because I was watching this on this other guy's stream, Hassan. But he appeared live on the ADF. I don't know if you know, Germany's got a new party called the ADF. Mm-hmm. They're built on the right wing side as well. Mm-hmm. And he appeared there talking about how he wants the German people to be able to keep their Germanness and preserve their culture and identity. Which is nothing wrong. Of course, you should be able to preserve your identity. Yeah. And children should not be blamed for the sins of their grandfathers as well. But at the same time, I just feel like, first of all, one, he's the richest guy. It's like, I was reading on Forbes magazine 2020, I think it was 2025, was it 2024 when we were there?
2024, I think.
2024, second richest man in the world. Net worth like 420 something billion, right? So he has nothing to prove, really, right? In terms of wealth, he has got it. In terms of status, he has it.
He's not part of the 1%. He is the 1%.
He is
basically.
Yeah, he's basically that. What do you think he's trying to achieve?
He's got to the top and he wants more. He's greedy.
Yeah,
it's not politics, because he's already in politics right now, because he's working with, he's literally got an office on the right wing of the White House, which literally
It feels unstoppable.
there.
Look at what he's created. Look at the sort of money he's generated and who he's rubbing shoulders with. Why would he stop? I probably wouldn't stop.
You know what just came across my mind? You know that Austin Powers movie where he goes, I want to dominate the world!
That's probably it.
That's probably it. I want to rule the world. I want to go to Mars. When money, once you have that much money, it's no longer about money.
No.
It's no longer about money. You know?
Nah, true. No, I get that. So, what do you think is his drive then? What do you think he's trying to he's trying to make sure that he's... Obviously, first of all, he's got a lot of companies, right? He's got Tesla, he's got SpaceX, so I'm sure he wants to be able to invest in most of these countries and bring his investment.
He wants to live on Mars.
Of course, even Trump. I think I read the thing that Trump actually put a plan about trying to set up a new thing in Mars. But I feel like those are bold ideas. The new ideas that gets people actually, I don't know, motivated and actually.
Look at the planet we're living on now. Take care of this one first.
I get that. But in the same time, this is how we get new development. This is how we get new ways of building things. This is how we get new scientific breakthroughs, right? By being bold and trying to actually achieve things that we're not quite ready for our time. Because I feel like even when it comes to going to space, when people went to the moon, you said you don't believe they went to the moon, but even setting satellites up there, I think they were trying to be ahead of their time. You know where I'm coming from? Yeah. Not trying to sit still and wait for the future to come to us in some way.
Yeah, and I said, but all of those things is fine and well. We can do those things on planet Earth too.
We can.
And there's 8 billion people on planet Earth, and staggering amount of them are starving, mate. You ain't got clean water. Let's start here.
True. But then again, they will say, obviously, those governments should do the job as well to be able to get those governments.
Yeah, they will say that, but they won't tell you what part that they play to make sure those governments can feed their own people. Right?
No, of course.
Yeah, and say, whether you're in Africa, Asia, South America, once certain countries get their claws into you, you can't grow food for your system. You got to grow food and ship it to my country.
Not true.
Of
course.
This is what happens.
And for me, when it comes to Elon Musk, in terms of what you just spoke about as well, is in terms of mineral resources. Because obviously, when it comes to these cars, these Tesla cars, they use these lithium batteries, which use a lot of cobalt and a lot of cobalt and coltan that come straight from Congo as well. Yeah. We have the first largest deposit of it in the whole world. Yeah. So at the same time, it's how, for example, if I look at Congo, for example, how that resource is actually being mined out of the ground. You have all of these cars that are being worth so much money here. You have all of these technology, like the phones that we're using, all of these tech stuff that everybody else is using every day. But over there, that country is still the poorest country in the world.
People are dying to get
the kids are literally going in there. There's no PPE. There's no nothing. People complain about bad working conditions here in England. I have to laugh or I cry, but at the same time, it's I don't know. When they literally you have whole families there, kids from a certain age, who go there and literally just take a hammer, start bashing all these rocks, trying to get.
And that is all done by design.
And to be able to sell it to them, so we can have these electric cars and all these things.
So all the stuff of travelling here and being innovative and going beyond where the mind can comprehend. Look at what we're doing now. It doesn't have to be that way.
Well, we need
but it is that way.
No, but
you know something? There are ways of mining that stuff in a healthy way.
Of course.
With PPE.
But you pay them more. You have to pay them more.
So it goes towards capitalism. Greed. I want more.
You have to
I don't
pay
care
them
what happened to you. I want more.
The contracts has to be different.
So we don't mind that millions of people have to die to get these things to make our fancy phones that we spend £1,000 for. We don't mind that because we want this gadget. But the thing that I always say is that it doesn't have to be that way. We can still have these gadgets. Yes, they'll be more expensive, but we don't have to make so much people around the world suffer the way that they suffer. But because of this thing that they talk about all the time called capitalism, I ain't got a problem with capitalism, but because of this thing here, I heard this American businessman say this thing one time about how wonderful capitalism is because everybody should be inspired to reach that 1%. As if all that's required is hard work to reach the 1%ers. That's all that's required. Just work hard. And that's what they tell you. Just work hard. As if people who's working 2 and 3 jobs are not working hard. As if I'm not working hard, you're not working hard, just not working hard. We're not working hard.
No.
We're all lazy because we're not a part of the 1%ers. So the 1%ers, they're the hardest working people and everybody else is lazy.
It's not really, and I don't think that they're calling everybody else lazy. I feel like it's also the concept of the fact that when you're the CEO of a particular company, everybody else comes to work for you, but you have to be able to keep the company alive. Because if the company stops being alive, the whole thing falls down and everybody else loses the job. Compared to people that just come in there to work. Yeah. And which I understand where you're coming from as well, but at the same time I feel like, yeah, what the owner or the billionaire has to do as well to be able to carry on keeping the machine alive, that's a fear by itself as well. That takes a lot as well. Don't get me wrong. But no, but I get where you're coming from. I get what you're saying. But no. Anything else you wanted to bring up as well?
Yeah, I just kind of think that we've just got to really keep our eyes open and dig a little deeper in what's really happening, because I think there's a lot of information that we're being told out there that's just not the truth, and people are believing it, are holding on to it as if it is the truth, and it's just not. I think people just got to kind of do a little bit more digging, a little bit more research to kind of realize that we have more in common than we have differences, and when we can realize that and bridge that gap, I think we're a better thing.
No,
we
you're right as
the
well.
same, don't we?
No, and to add to that as well, the people that also try to suppress people's voices, or try to tell people that they should be cancelled, like especially this whole cancel culture, which is crazy. Like, for example, people trying to cancel you for having an opinion, like this is a bit crazy. It makes no sense to me, and I feel like I don't know. Yeah, that shouldn't happen at all whatsoever. Those are the people that should, I don't know, that now are complaining that their voice not being heard as much most of the time, right? They're the ones that were cancelling people in the first place.
We're controlled a lot more than we realise or want to admit.
No, of course.
Because we've been told the whole time that we're so free. We're so free.
True.
But, unless I don't go to work tomorrow and see how free you are. don't.
Is that the only way we look at? Is that how you quantify freedom?
No, that's not how I quantify freedom. I like to say, but in society as a whole, when we talk about we live in a free society, we live in a free society as long as you.
Comes with conditions.
Once you don't do, you'll see how free you are. And we're witnessing that. We're in the midst of that. That's what's happening right now as we speak.
No, true.
As we speak, that's what's happening. People are saying, I'm free, but it's like, well, I should be able to have an opinion about this or an opinion about that. Yeah, you can, but be careful what you say.
Toe the line, guys. Toe the line. Yeah, don't go too far.
Yeah, and you know something? But what I'm excited about is that people are starting to see, and it wouldn't surprise me if we're not in the beginning of a revolution. And I'm talking about a global revolution, because I think people around the world are unhappy with how things are. They understand that it doesn't need to be this way, it's unfair, and who's causing all this? Because I was going to go to something else. That's another big topic, so I'm not going to go. I'm not going to say that more.
That's a part 2. Next time, part 2 on that one. Yeah. But guys, stay free, stay connected, and thanks for watching as well. And like I said, remember to subscribe, like, and share the video as well. And we'll see you guys on the next one as well. Okay. Peace.